From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 530 News.
Tonight on the 530 News, the Montana National Guard making a big splash with their annual water training. We're going to take you there.
In this vast and diverse state, certain communities may have to take some specific measures to tackle their unique situations.
The COVID spread being seen among younger people. Governor Bullock now considering additional measures for hot spots, including Yellowstone County. And with COVID-19 still spreading and schools soon starting, what's the plan in Billings to keep students safe? Tonight, we have some answers. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Russ Riesinger. How to get thousands of Billings students back to school safely in the middle of a pandemic. It's been a big challenge for administrators and a big question for parents and students. The draft plan is finally available for the public to view. Q2's Mitch Legge brings us a few small aspects of a very large document. Mitch?
As the Billings School District prepares to welcome students back into the classroom this fall, one thing is clear in its decision-making process. It's acknowledged that educating students during a pandemic is an exercise in risk management. Yellowstone County Health Officer John Felton told the school board today that there's no risk-free scenarios to bring students back, but there are scientifically proven methods to slow the spread of disease and keep people safe, such as masking and physical distancing. The plan is still to have two sections of class, one online and one in person, and parents will have to choose one for their student for the entire year. Plans for lunch were also revealed at the meeting. In elementary schools, students would go to the cafeteria by cohort and pick up their food, and they will either stay there or go back to the classroom to eat. And commonly used items will be sanitized in between cohorts. And for middle and high schoolers, lunch will also be served in cohorts with similar sanitation procedures. And there's no mention in the document of whether high school students will have an open campus lunch where they can leave to go eat somewhere else.
This plan took into account many pieces of information and our local health officials, local experts that we have, in response to listening to the community and the parents, and we'll continue to our teachers and so on and so forth. It's no easy task at all, and I don't want to minimize that, but at the same time, we need to work to solve this problem, and we will.
Now, the entire plan is available in its draft form right now for you to view on ktvq.com. Reporting in Billings, I'm Mitch Legge, MTN News.
All right, thank you, Mitch. The superintendent is meeting with the teachers union tomorrow to get its feedback on the plan. In minutes, a look at what MSUB and Rocky have as far as their back-to-school plans. Well, tonight there are two more deaths to the report, and both of those in Yellowstone County, now bringing the state's total number of deaths to 54. The two latest COVID deaths, two men in their 70s who passed away at their homes. 25 Yellowstone County residents have now died because of COVID-19 related illnesses. Also today, another spike in new cases as state health officials are reporting 201 new cases across the state. Powell County has its first case. Now there are only 5 counties left without a case in Montana. Bighorn County announced 19 new cases. More than 1,300 Montanans are currently infected with the virus. Well, most of the COVID deaths have been in elderly patients, but today Governor Steve Bullock expressed his concerns about another group with a fast rising number of positive cases.
And while we're testing more across all the age groups, we're seeing more and more that the younger age groups are contributing to our increase in cases.
I did not worry about catching it. I was just not being as careful as I should have been.
One of those young people who came down with COVID-19, 23-year-old Katie Gondero. She joined Bullock for the news conference.
Please don't take this lightly. And I think that it's really important for people my age in the 20 to 29 age group understand that we are really we're driving the spread of this, because while we may recover from this, we all know people and have people in our lives that won't.
In Yellowstone County, which has by far the most active cases in the state and the most deaths, more than half of the people testing positive are below the age of 39. Bullock says additional measures are being considered for 9 hot spots, including Yellowstone and Bighorn counties.
I know that capacity to get our hands around this virus in some of these communities is actually getting difficult. We'll be working with local public health officers in the upcoming days to determine if additional common sense measures Canada should be taken to both deploy additional resources and/or steps to limit the spread.
Well, Governor Bullock once again also pushed for all Montanans to wear masks and also announced that a new public service announcement will soon begin airing across Montana. St. Vincent Healthcare was recognized as one of the top 100 hospitals in the nation by IBM Watson Health earlier today. They are only the hospital in Montana to receive this distinction, and this is the second year in a row for the recognition. St. Vincent is also the only hospital in the region to receive a 5-star rating from the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. These distinctions come during one of the most trying times for healthcare, both locally and across the nation. Joey Trawick, a registered nurse on St. Vincent's COVID ward, spoke about the mission of the hospital and their service to patients.
We serve especially the poor and vulnerable, and I think what I've realized is we are all poor and vulnerable in this crisis. The lines between us have really dropped, haven't they? Whether you're in politics or you're a multimillionaire or you're homeless, we are all poor and vulnerable, including me. We are all at risk, and the lines between us have really, the walls between us have really lowered.
Trawick went on to say that he's proud not only of the work that he gets to do, but he's proud of the care and compassion St. Vincent gives its patients. The Montana Department of Commerce is partnering with NeighborWorks Montana to help raise awareness about their COVID-19 emergency housing assistance. The hope to help more Montanans not lose their homes. MTN's John Riley has more.
The additional federal unemployment assistance and the eviction moratorium established by the Federal CARES Act ran out last week. Congress is looking at additional protections, but nothing is concrete yet, and August rent and mortgage payments are still due. There is emergency housing assistance available through the Montana COVID Relief Fund. $500 million have been allocated to the program, but only around $1.1 million has been requested by Montanans. The Department of Commerce's new partnership with NeighborWorks Montana aims to increase awareness of the program and help Montanans that are potentially looking at losing their home.
COVID has been something that has upended everything. And there is no shame in taking advantage of some of these resources that are available if your family or you as an individual have been financially affected by COVID.
NeighborWorks Montana works with thousands of families every year to assist with education and financing for housing. The Emergency Housing Assistance Program provides rent, security deposit, and mortgage payment assistance for Montanans who have lost their job or substantial income as a result of COVID-19, with applicants eligible for up to $2,000 per month. Housing payments are often the lion's share of a family's budget. Commerce Director Tara Rice wants individuals to know that this program is there to support them.
For many people, a job loss or a reduction in income occurred earlier this spring, and if they're behind on rent or their mortgage payment, the program can help them get current, in addition to help them making their monthly payments going forward during months for which they qualify.
Reporting from Helena, John Riley, MTN News.
More information about the Montana Emergency Housing Assistance Program and how to apply can be found at covidreliefmt.gov. Well, today, 10 National Guard members are working to improve their skills when it comes to water rescues. MTN's Jonathan Ambarian reports on why this training is so very valuable.
On Wednesday morning, Montana National Guard aviation crews were out at Canyon Ferry Lake, practicing to be ready for water rescues. Helicopter crews conducted a series of simulated rescues. They practiced lowering rescue swimmers to the water. The swimmers then swam over to a person in need of assistance, attached them to a rope, and let the crew hoist them back to the helicopter. The Gallatin County dive team helped place people in the water as simulated patients. Leaders say the experience they get here is invaluable.
We are a landlocked state, so you don't get a whole lot of that water experience. So they come out of it with a lot more confidence in the water.
The National Guard brought in outside instructors to conduct this training. The goal is to introduce all crews to the same standard procedure for handling this type of rescue.
It's basically a crawl, walk, run. We're starting here with integrating the rescue swimmers, getting to the water, getting to survivor, and extracting that survivor back to the aircraft. In a benign setting, there's not much current here.
Water rescues bring additional challenges for the helicopter crews.
When you're out in the middle of a lake, just trying to hover becomes a little bit harder because you don't have a reference point, a fixed fixed point on land, for example.
Leaders said this type of training will help Guard members in a range of situations, from rescues in Montana to assisting in other states during disasters.
It's extremely important. Our job is so that others may live, and if we can't come and do it professionally, do it accurately, do it right, we don't want to add that potential hazard.
These crews' training will continue later in the week as they move on to practicing rescues in moving water. At Canyon Ferry Lake, I'm Jonathan Amberian, MTN News.
All right, thank you, Jonathan. Up next on the 5:30 News, it's a big assignment, deciding how back to school will look for college students this fall. We're going to have details from both Rocky and MSUB. And in sports, after breaking his pelvis in a routine parachute jump, this Air Force veteran is finally back on the golf course. Scott will share his inspiring story coming up.
And coming up in weather, we've had some decent showers across south central Montana and heavy rain in the southeast, but they all seem to be moving away from Montana. We'll tell you where they're going and why in a few more minutes.